Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I do hope that everyone's week has been filled with blessings. I do pray that everyone's staying safe. I just want to say thank you for tuning in, and I hope you all enjoy my video today. Okay, so today's Bible verse comes from Romans 8:25, and it reads, "But if we hope for what we do not see, we wait for it with patience." So from that verse, you can already guess that the video today is going to be about patience. What is patience? When is your patience being tested? How do you know what I'm saying, that patience is something that you need to work on? So stay tuned, and hopefully I can give you guys some answers to some questions that you might have about patience. Okay, so patience is defined as the capacity to accept or tolerate delay, trouble, or suffering without getting angry or upset. Patience is not something that we're normally born with. It's something that's taught, and throughout life it's something that we have to learn from basically getting put in situations that we're uncomfortable in. And the thing about those situations, they don't necessarily be big, because sometimes people need a lot of patience, but then also there are people who only lack little patience. They have more patience than the normal person might have. For example, you might be at the grocery store and you might be in a line where the cashier is, let's just say they're fairly new, and so they're moving kind of slow. Well, that you lack patience if you're getting aggravated and you're getting angry just because the person, they're not moving as fast as you want them to move. So in situations like that, like, how do you feel? You know what I'm saying? When you feel aggravated over something as small as a cashier not moving as fast as you want them to move, then that's a sign that you lack patience. And one way to kind of help yourself through situations like that, you have to remember that you were once new at a job. You know what I'm saying? And you don't really come in the door knowing how to do your job. You have to learn your job, and that cashier is in the learning phase. So if you talk to yourself and you kind of tell yourself and kind of calm yourself down and tell yourself things like that, then you could, kind of help yourself be more patient. Coach yourself into kind of being more patient. And another scenario could be like you're driving down the street, and on the street, it kind of has like it has a stoplight at every corner. And it just seems like you're getting stopped at every single light, like it's red every time you pull up to the next light and the next light and the next light. A lot of times God used situations very small like that to slow you down. I mean, for all He's saving you from something that's far ahead that you can't see. So you just have to sit there, and basically you have to wait. Like, are you going to run the light, and break the law and risk getting a ticket, or are you going to sit there and just be patient until the light turns green? Okay, so let's just use the scenario of the stoplight as if the stoplight was life. Okay, so let's just say, the red means stop and green means go. So a lot of times we have red light seasons, and in those seasons, those are times for us to stop and evaluate ourselves, reevaluate how we see life, reevaluate how we do things. Just take a look at yourself. And in life, it seems like we honestly have more red light scenarios than green light scenarios, but those red light times are times for, building up your character, just building up your personality, building up how you do things. And that is something that is so important, because it can determine whether whether you're successful, or, like whether you're going to grow or whether you're going to stay stagnant and continue to have to learn the same lesson over and over and over again. So I just want to say, pay attention to the seasons where it seems like God is trying to slow you down and stop you from doing something. Like when you're put in situations like that, or when your life comes to that point, just take the time out and ask God, ask him why, and pray and really seek his face in those times, because he's gonna, lead you in the correct direction. He's gonna, show you how to move forward. Another way God teaches us patience is through our loved ones. For some reason, those are the people that we have to have the most patience to be able to deal with. Like, for example, a newborn. You really have to have patience to be able to deal with the newborn, because there's a lot of crying, and you have to figure out what's wrong with the newborn. They might be hungry, they might be wet, they might not feel good. And situations like that require you to take deep breaths and just really step back and try to figure out a solution to the problem. Like, you can't help but to learn how to be patient when you're dealing with, someone like a newborn. And not only newborns, God teaches us patience through our parents, through our friends, because sometimes that you don't want to go around disrespecting your mom. And let's just be real, parents think they can say whatever they want to say to us, but it's our job to be respectful and to have enough patience and to realize that they are set in their ways. God's gonna deal with them. We just have to do the right thing and kind of walk away, and just have enough patience to not disrespect them the way that they are disrespecting us. Okay, so another example of, or I guess scenario of how that you need to work on your patience could be like, for example, you're used to getting everything that you want, and you're used to getting it when you want it, at the time frame, where things normally just seem to fall into place with you. Well, let's just say you hit a rough patch, and then things are just, they're kind of falling apart, and everything isn't lining up the way that you're normally used to them lining up. And, that in turn leads to you, being angry just because things aren't working the way that you want them to work. But God uses those situations because that's like a control issue, honestly. And God uses situations like that to show us that, we're not the ones in control, that ultimately he is the one in control, and that things happen really on his time. Let's just be real. His time is the perfect time, because when things happen, when God says yes, or when he allows them things to happen, then that they're going to prosper. That they're going to be legitimate. that it's going to be longevity behind whatever he causes to prosper in the appropriate time, just as long as you have patience. When he's telling you to stop or wait, but you have to have it, and you have to have it now, then usually it might start up just fine, but ultimately you're gonna come to a place where that thing that you started up begins to basically crumble right before your eyes, and it's because you weren't patient enough. Or sometimes you settle for things when you want more, but you want it now, when you want it, when God has already told you that he's going to bless you with something so much better, but because you lack patience, you go out and get something that it can't even compare to the thing that you really want. The Bible tells us that whatever door God opened, no man can close. So when you're patient enough to wait on the promises of God, the things that he give you, can't nobody come and take that away from you. That is gonna forever be yours until he says it's not anymore. And if he bless you with it, then he's not going to come take it away. Okay, so just ask yourself, is patience important? Well, to me, it's so very important, and I feel like it's the gateway to a lot of the blessings that God has in store for you. For example, with patience, you can wait on that man or that woman that God has placed on this earth for you, rather than keep on hopping in, so many different relationships, wanting them to work, repeating the same patterns, relationship patterns that you've been repeating, yet they have not been working out for you. Because those relationships, they be makeshift. They be temporary just because we feel like we have to talk to someone no matter. And sometimes we don't even be happy. We just stay in a situation with the person just because we're comfortable in that situation. Well, I'm just here to tell you that if you're in a relationship with someone and that you're not comfortable in that relationship and that you can't be yourself in that relationship, then that is just not the relationship that you need to be in. That is not the person that God called you to be with. And a lot of times there are like underlying causes of the reasons why we're so impatient. For example, you might be like, kind of like me, like someone who's just used to being in control. And when you're a control freak, God will put you in a situation that's so beyond your control. You can't help but to sit back and humble yourself and be patient and wait until you get finished going through whatever situation you in. Or, you might be prideful and just used to getting everything done on your own. So then you're put in situations where you have to lean on people, where people have to help you. You have to swallow your pride and ask for help. In those situations, really test your patience, because then you deal with so many different personalities. You have to deal with rejection. Those times are not easy at all, because God is working on not only your patience, but he's breaking down that pride that you have on the inside and ultimately letting you know that you need to tone it down. And sometimes we do need to lean on other people. And not only lean on other people, but, ultimately, for the most part, lean on him. You have to look to the hills from whence cometh your help, and all of your help, it comes from the Lord. So in those situations where you just so used to, you're doing everything yourself and you just feel like you have no one. Well, you do have someone, you have him. And so we forget that when our pride, we're so puffed up with pride, because we felt like, well, I'm gonna go get her. I went and got all this stuff by myself, neglecting the fact that those things that we have are blessings, and blessings come from God. Okay, with all that being said, sometimes, we're people that are conscious, and we notice that we lack patience, but then there are other people who, don't necessarily know that patience is something that they're lacking. So the next time you find yourself in a situation that is kind of out of your control or, uncomfortable, ask yourself, am I impatient? Is God trying to show me that I lack patience? Or, what is God trying to show me about myself that I need to open my eyes up and see myself for who I am? Because there's something within me that I need to work on. So, these are questions and things that you kind of need to, ask yourself. I just want to say thank you all for tuning in, and I do hope that everyone enjoyed my video today. I really hope, that I was able to help someone, guide someone, or whatever, these videos do for you. I'm so thankful that people are tuning in, and I just want to say don't forget to subscribe and hit that thumbs up button, and I'll see you guys later on next week with another video.